Hey guys, welcome back to the neighborhood. It's your friendly neighborhood reviewer coming at you with another interesting budget IEM, the Opera Factory OS1 Pro. The Opera Factory OS1 Pro should not be confused with its prior iteration, the OS1. And while I have not heard that IEM myself, by all accounts that earphone is somewhat dark and bloomy. So how did Opera Factory do with the retune of the Pro version here? Let's get into it. The build here is a bit of a mixed bag. These are very lightweight and come with a very nice set of tips, which makes these very comfortable to wear. But the shell is composed of lightweight plastic and is aesthetically somewhat flashy without being gaudy or going overboard in my opinion. Yet, the cable is barely better than something that comes with a Blonde series IEM, although some additional attention was paid to the inline mic, Y-split, and initiation and termination connections. By the way, it initiates in a 2-pin connection and terminates in a right-angled 3.5mm connection. The ear hooks are plastic wrapped for comfort, but more aggressively hooked than other sets. Nevertheless, I didn't really find this to be a problem for me when worn, like something like the KS1, but it could be a problem for others with larger ears. My primary criticisms of the build here is that it's a bit too lightweight, and I wish the cable material utilized was a little bit more rugged. Regarding its sound, this is somewhat of an extreme V-shaped sound signature, but seems to be tuned with inoffensiveness in mind. Instead of being harsh in the treble or bloomy in the bass, the OS1 Pro is fast, articulate for its price, and very precisely rolled at both ends, presenting an overall pleasing picture to its listener with good tonality and clarity for the price range. For a retune of an inexpensive basshead IEM, I'm not sure that the OS1 Pro could have been retuned any better, but the K-Bear KS1 now exists, so I'm going to give the edge to that IEM here. But let's get into why you're here and look at the sound for the OS1 Pro. Since this is a basshead IEM, we'll start with the bass. Overall, it is a relatively fast, punchy, thumpy, bouncy bass, derived mostly from the mid and upper bass regions, with just enough sub-bass presence for some warmth and character. In other words, its sub-bass presence on most music is somewhat less present, which results in increased definition in the bass region and less bleed or bloom to come from out of it. I think Opera Factory was smart here to choose graphene as its driver material for this type of fast sound, as it separates this IEM from others in the marketplace at or around this price. In this case, it may not wow you with its bass detailing or resolve like the K-Bear KS2, but Opera Factory appears to have designed things with more of an integrative, pleasing approach in mind. Upper mids are well articulated, and vocal tonality and clarity are surprisingly clear, clean, and natural sounding at this price. Lower mid-range instrumentation and male vocals were substantially more in the mix compared to female vocals, but lucidity and articulation remained well done. Even when some components of the mid-range are presented more in the background on occasion, they still came across as transparent and articulate. The same goes for the treble response. The treble is rolled off at the top end, but done so in a pleasing way, remaining apparent and with some sparkle even when some recession is evident. It is lively and mildly boosted without going overboard, never coming across as harsh, strident, or with over-articulation. This makes this set great for modern music genres like pop, rap, hip-hop, and others, which might come across a bit boosted or lively up top for certain other sets. At times, the upper regions of the treble are presented further out and somewhat at a distance, but this enhances psychoacoustics and represents dimensionality well. Furthermore, it contributes to this earphone's more relaxed nature, and at the end, the harshest notes are pleasantly blunted. So if you are a treble-sensitive person but like treble detailing, this may be a good set for you to consider. Unlike something like the K-Bear Lark, which just kind of falls off at 9K, sounds are well extended here with the OS1 Pro, even when accentuation is reduced. Overall tonality is relatively neutral, and there is a slight warmth from its low-end emphasis and rolled tones. For an IEM targeted towards bass heads, this was a welcome surprise, as was its graphene driver's speedy nature and resolving character. Soundstage is average in width, but dimensionality is somewhat enhanced, and decay is well implemented. Separation and distinctiveness of instruments were good for the price. I compared the OS1 Pro to other similarly priced IEMs such as the Blonde BL01, Blonde BL03, and the Moondrop SSR. Clarity and resolution capabilities were most similar to the SSR, and in some ways the OS1 Pro may have been more articulate. So with regard to its resolve overall, I found the OS1 Pro to be superior to the Blondes. Low-end prominence was more akin to the Blonde BL01, but much quicker and more tightly controlled in the mid-bass in comparison. While the mid-range was somewhat less emphasized in comparison to the others here, mid-clarity was comparable, and treble detailing was more present and sophisticated in the OS1 Pro. But none of the treble presentations here, including that of the OS1 Pro, should be described as being in your face by anyone. In summary, the OS1 Pro is somewhat of an extreme V for bass heads, but presented in an inoffensive and pleasing way overall. It is rolled off skillfully at both ends without too much obfuscation or sonic loss at either tail. Further, clarity and resolution of the OS1 Pro were also a surprise at this price point, and it at least keeps up with other recommendations that bass heads tend to gravitate towards in this price range. While its build isn't stellar here, it does have its shining moments, but Opera Factory appears to have focused more here on what counts, the sound. Nevertheless, this is more of a fun sound signature than an accurate one, yet I still enjoy its presentation, including its speed, sparkle, and pleasing character. In the end, it's not going to get my highest recommendation because again, the K-Bear KS1 does exist, but I like what Opera Factory is going for with this one. And just a reminder guys to hit subscribe and go ahead and follow the neighborhood at all its other access locations, including the blog, Twitter, Instagram, the Discord, or become a Patreon. The Patreon is only $1.50 a month and it gets you access to early written reviews like this one. This review was posted up on the Patreon for a good couple of weeks before I got around to making this video. So if you want to get the first word on these IEMs, go ahead and make sure to become a Patreon. You won't regret it if you do. And with that, I'm out for now.